afternoon, Zimbabwe. Welcome to the Bulawayo Province Media Team Cafe here at the ZITF, where we're hosting the Zanu PF conference. I'm here to speak to our first guest, Honorable Maridadi. He's an ambassador, he's not new to the media space. Honorable Maridadi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, the President has spoken a very moving speech in his opening remarks. What were your takeaways?
Look, I think it is important for me to give you a context. Every country, we have election cycles after every 4 years or after every 5 years. The reason we have election cycles is so that a political party that has been chosen by the people takes over government. Because government policy comes out of a political party manifesto. It doesn't really matter where it is. It could be in the United States, it could be in Zambia, and it's semi-applied. That's what democracy is all about. So government takes its lead from a political party. So the political party manifesto is the one that informs the government policy. So the president was speaking to the political party manifesto, which then informs government policy. The reason I'm here as the representative of Zimbabwe, where I was appointed to represent the country, is so that I'm able to glean party policies, party manifesto, which then informs government policy. So basically the president's speech is that Zimbabwe is a friend to all and enemy to none. What it means is that we must engage those that are our friends, we keep the friendship, and those that are not our friends, we continue to engage them and hope that one day we'll find common ground, because there's merit in friendship than there is in enmity, and that's basically what the president is saying. And another great takeaway that the president has spoken and has always spoken about is that there's no speech or no phrase in politics or in government policy which is more profound than that. It is a phrase which basically says that if you're not patriotic, then you're like a cabbage in the society. It talks to patriotism, and patriotism does not really matter what your political affiliation is.
Your country is your country.
The country comes first. The country comes first, and political parties come second. Because the country will stay, political parties come and go. We have seen so many political parties that have come to Zimbabwe since 1960, in the pre-independent Zimbabwe. Political parties came and went, and we see it now. Political parties are coming and going, but Zimbabwe as a country stays. So I am a Zimbabwean first and foremost, and I honor Zimbabwe. In whatever I do, I'm a patriotic Zimbabwean, and whatever I do, I put the interests of Zimbabwe first.
Oh, thank you, very powerful. And I think to our viewers, he's saying it's very important to put your country first. Regardless of your political ideology, the government of the day is the government that will take the country forward. Now, moving on to your current station as an ambassador, what kind of projects are you working on, trying to bring investment in Zimbabwe? We're told there's something big that you're working on with Sidco. If you can tell the viewers about that.
Yes, I'm based in Senegal, in Dakar, and I cover 6 countries. I cover Mali, I cover Guinea-Conakry, I cover Guinea-Bissau, I cover Cape Verde, and I cover the Gambia.
Wow.
It is a huge portfolio. That is West Africa, and the culture in that part of the continent is so different from ours. First and foremost, it's about 95% by Islam, and yet here we're Christians. And so the project that I've embarked with Sidco is a white maize. They didn't know white maize until I introduced it. So what we did, the first time I got into Senegal, I realized that they didn't know white maize. So I told them, look, in Zimbabwe, we have what we call white maize, because from white maize we make millet meal, and from millet meal we get our staple food, which is sadza. And what you might be interested in knowing is that sadza, white sadza was not always our staple food in Zimbabwe. It only came in the 1920s, in the 20s, and they started doing it commercially in the 1960s and 70s. Because when it came to Zimbabwe, it came as stock feed. Yeah, so we have introduced it, and Sidco seed maize is amazing. And people could not believe that you could get such a big cob on a maize. Because what they do in that part of the world is yellow maize, which they use as corn. So we're introducing Sadza. So what we did was we did 20 hectares of white maize, and then produced mealie meal, which we then gave to prisons. Yes, because Sadza is a lot cheaper to produce than what they use this, that staple food, because they use rice, and the rice, 90% of it is imported. And you find in Zimbabwe the maize that the mealie meal, most of the maize is grown locally, and because of the weather there, the water, the availability of water, they can do maize throughout the year.
So basically, their climate is the same as ours.
It's not the same. It's not the same as ours.
It feels like as compared to Zimbabwe.
Well, that area it's humid. Today here in Blawe, people will say it's hot, but compared to the weather in Senegal, this is very cold.
Wow.
Yeah, those temperatures go up to 44, 45 degrees. Without sunshine, but it's humid. So everyone will be sweating. It's humid, but they have a lot of water. A lot of underground water, and the water table is very high. So irrigation is a possibility. And because there's not a lot of mechanization like that we have in Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, look, there's irrigation all over the place, and in that part of the world there isn't. So we've now we're introducing irrigation in Gambia, and I'll tell you as now that I'm on it, we are introducing white maize in Gambia. And the government has just allocated us 2,000 hectares of land.
Wow.
And so I've negotiated with Sidco to give us seed maize, and we're doing quite a number of varieties, and the government is very happy. Actually had the opportunity to meet His Excellency the President of the Gambia, and he said he was very interested in us doing maize farming, and that's what we're doing now.
That's marvelous. Yeah, there's a WFP report that says by 2035, if you are not involved in food production in Africa, you are not in the game.
Of course.
So actually in Gambia, there is a revolution,
yes.
a maize revolution.
Yes, there is.
That's very impressive. Other than agriculture, what other sectors are you bringing into in terms of investment back to Zimbabwe?
We have brought in quite a few people that are investing in mining. There's not a lot of mineral resources in that part of the world. There's gold and some resources in Mali, but there's not much in Gambia, and there isn't much in Senegal. So we've brought in investors in Zimbabwe that are investing in the mining sector. And interestingly, we've brought in one investor who wants to invest in agriculture in Zimbabwe. He's a big investor, probably one of the biggest business people in the Gambia. So he has already come to Zimbabwe. He has met the Vice President, Honorable Kemo Mhadi, and he has already registered a company. And so he will be starting his mining venture next year, and he will also be starting his agriculture venture next year, and he's going to do it in partnership with local producers. Yes.
Well, Maridadi, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
There you have it, viewers. We always say nyika inovakwa nevayo ilizwe lakhiwa ngabanikazi, but now Africa yakhiwa ngabanikazi bayo. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.